All right, so one of the first things is figuring out what specialization is the best to run. I tend to run with Technician simply due to the 50% skill power bonus so that I can spec more into skill haste without having to spec into that. And the other thing about it is you can get the plus 10% skill healing. In just a second, I'll show why that is that's beneficial. The other option, though, is you can run Survivalist because Survivalist gives a plus 15% increased outgoing healing. So that doesn't do anything to help me specifically, but it does add 15% outgoing healing. And considering we have 41% already, it's a decent amount, but I would prefer the 10% healing across the board, simply because that allows me to stay alive longer, and if I'm alive, that means I can heal people. As soon as I die, my healing skills go down. So anyway, so pick whichever one you like, but those are the two I recommend, and I do run the Technician myself. Next, we'll go ahead and talk about weapons. There's a few different ways to run this. One of the main things to get out of the way right out the gate is the holstered abilities. I prefer to always run in rhythm, rooted, and recharged. So I have in rhythm on the pistol. I'm actually using the lightning rod in this case with perfect salvage, Allegro, and in rhythm. And I'm simply using it because it does have, I didn't even have to re-roll it. It has all the perks I want on it. So just a good gun, and I like that I got a named weapon there. It's just cool to have another perfect perk. Both versions of this build, I use the send-off named KSG, I think it's called, shotgun. This one, I got perpetuation on it, so kills add extra duration and charges. To be honest, I very rarely actually use this gun to shoot at people. I only use this if I get pushed, and if I'm using the designated hitter, because that's horrible at close range, so I'll swap to this. But in this particular build, I'll use the Pyromaniac. But moving on, anyway, so I use Perpetuation, Allegro for a little extra oomph, and the big one is Perfectly Rooted. While equipped and in cover, all skill damage and healing is increased by plus 30%. So that's an extra 30% healing for 15 seconds. So, it's only 25% of the time, but, that's a substantial bonus healing to the team. I just put elite damage on this. One big thing, though, to notice, though, with the Technician is it gives access to the long underbarreled Link laser pointer. The Link laser pointer pulses turrets. And so why this is beneficial, if any of your teammates is using a mask with spotter on it, that means any of the enemies that you aim at, your teammates will do 20% bonus damage to. So you are not only adding in the healing to your team, but by actually just aiming at as many targets as you can, you're actually contributing to DPS of any teammates using spotter. So moving on, then this is where the choice is. What are you going to run as your primary? And there's two primaries that I run. You can run whatever you want, but I prefer to run the Pyromaniac. I use this to proc the BTSU gloves, and because, let's face it, assault rifles are just easy to use, I play on console. So this one I didn't even have to re-roll. I believe I actually picked this up from Cassie. So check Cassie periodically. But so perfectly ignited for the plus 40% burning damage, and after 2 kills it applies burning, which then procs the BTSU. Allegro, just to put more bullets down range. And I actually have one that does more damage, but I'd prefer Allegro. And then I have recharge on this. While equipped, skills deployed at full armor have plus 25% duration, charges, and ammo. And of course, we're running the Link laser pointer for the support for any teammates running spotter. On the other one I would run, so I'd run this designated hitter, which also has the recharged, accurate on it. You go with whatever you like here. I like accurate because the whole point of this guy is actually if you pull it out, you want to get a headshot kill. For the perfect reformation, headshot kills increase skill repair and healing by 175% for 25 seconds. That's absolutely huge. Guys on PC, I'm sure you'd probably want to run this over the Pyromaniac. Any of you guys on console, if you're really good with marksman rifles, this is more advantageous to run than the Pyromaniac simply because we have easier ways to proc the BTSU gloves than actually firing the Pyromaniac. And you could keep this up basically all the time. If you're using this as your primary weapon and you're good at getting headshots, this is the way to go. So ideally you'd run the designated hitter, the send off, and like I said, I'm using the lightning rod. Moving on to the armor, the gear pieces. So what I'm doing is I'm running a 4-piece hardwired. I'm running BTSU gloves, and I do not have the backpack I want. Let's talk about that first. We'll talk about the backpack. Ideally, I would have a standard Alps Summit. I believe it's called the Elements Outdoors rucksack. And the reason I would want this particular one is because it rolls with 2 utility mod slots. So, and with the BTSU gloves, that of course equals 20% bonus healing and duration. So what I would prefer would be to say this same Elements Outdoor with skill power, skill haste, safeguard. Killing a target grants 150% bonus healing or bonus repair and healing effects for 5 seconds. Can occur once every 20 seconds. So again, like Rooted, this isn't up as often, but when it is up, this is a huge bonus. And the other perk is up to you. You could run Vital for plus 25% health. You could run Harden for bonus armor. You could run Hard Hitting if you wanted bonus damage to elites. Yeah, those are probably the ones. The Restorative and the Self-Adjusting, not so much a fan on, but hey, teach their own. Okay, so moving on from that, we got the BTSU gloves. For anybody who's not familiar, I'll just run through it quickly. So these are the exotic gloves. We got a couple different talents on here. So one is the Elemental Gadgetry. Skills that apply status effects gain plus 50% status effect duration and 50% skill haste. Since we are using the Firefly to proc blind status, that means that it actually has plus 50% status effect, and it lowers the skill haste. It decreases the cooldown. So the second perk is the Energy Infusion. This is the most important one. Whenever we apply the status effect, our gloves become infused with the last effect, and while infused, we gain plus 10% skill healing and repair and plus 10% skill duration for each utility we have. We're currently running 15. You can get it up to 17, even 18. I like the nice 150%. That's a nice round number for me, and allows me to get those 6 defensive slots, so I have some survivability. And then the last one, Charge Proxy. Whenever you throw a skill, 1.25 seconds after landing, it creates an explosion applying the infused status effect to all enemies. So that will, in this case of the Firefly, that will blind anybody that is in the range of the Hive when you throw it out. So moving on to the 4-piece. Oh, we should note that all the utility slots to this whole build are 4.5% extra outgoing healing, with one exception. I have one of them on the gloves that's actually 5% extra outgoing healing. So now we have 4 pieces of hardwire: the mask, the chest, the holster, and the knee pads. With the mask, we have 51% damage to elites and 20% skill haste. You absolutely want skill haste. As far as the damage to elites, you can put whatever you want in there. Chest piece. We have skill power, armor, and health. You can go with skill power. You could also add, I believe skill haste is available in the slot. If not, I apologize. But you could add skill haste here if it's available to get an extra utility slot. We have capacitive on either the chest or the backpack. In fact, on the backpack, if you do not have capacitive on the chest piece, then you would want capacitive on the backpack. We do have an armor on kill, but primarily the skill health. That helps to keep the Hive alive in case anybody's kicking it. Holster, skill power, skill haste, 2 utility slots with extra outgoing healing. And the knee pads, we have skill power and another armor on kill skill health mod. If you've already hit the threshold, I come close, but unfortunately I don't make it. If you make the threshold for skill power by the time you get to the knee pads, then go ahead and throw some skill haste on there. Oh, and quickly going over the hardwire. So the 2-piece gives plus 20% skill power, which of course helps this build significantly. 3-piece, tamper-proof, electrify your deployed skills. In this case, it would be the Hive. So whenever we throw the Hive, enemies wandering by it or too close to it can be shocked every 10 seconds. So that means with both the BTSU gloves and the hardwire set, I throw out the Hive, which when infused will blind them, and then every 10 seconds can shock them. Both of those can also reapply the status effect. And then the 4th one, feedback loop. Killing with the skill resets other skill cooldowns. This does not matter as we do not have any skills that actually cause damage. But the second part of it, when a skill cooldown ends or reaches full charges, is the Hive. Gain bonus damage and repair to all skills for 15 seconds. So that means once my Hive is done, it either runs out or my Hive fills completely up. For 15 seconds, I do bonus healing. Now we'll go ahead and quickly go through the skills. So what we're using to apply the BTSU infusion status is the Blinder Firefly. I have it with 2 skill hastes and a health mod. Cooldown on this says that it's 13.6 seconds, but remember, again, due to the BTSU gloves, since this is a skill that applies the status effect, it gains 50% bonus skill haste, which does mean that the cooldown on this guy is only about 10 seconds instead of 13.6. Now we come to the choices, and this really is what it comes down to. Oh, real quick, I use the EMP grenade simply because that can also apply status effects, but you can use a concussion grenade if you like throwing grenades. So really what it comes down to now is playstyle. You got 2 choices as far as a team group healer. You got the Hive and you got the Chem Launcher. Now don't get me wrong, right? You can also use the Seeker Mind if you want to run with Survivalist. You run with the Mender Seeker Mind, but that only heals 1 person at a time. And the drone, Fixer Drone, same thing. You can only heal 1 person with it at a time, and I like the Fixer Drone even less than the Seeker Mine, simply because it's much easier to shoot the Fixer Drone down. So moving on, the basic difference between the 2 play styles is your group. I look at it like this. If I'm playing with a group that knows that there's a dedicated healer, then I will go ahead and use the Chem Charger, because the healing is significantly better with this. But it does count on the guys finding fixed positions and trusting in the medic to keep them alive by keep putting heals in that position. If you got guys that don't realize that you're a healer, they keep running around all over the place, you shoot a chem charge and they immediately run out of the area. Pretty soon you're out of charges, even at 9 ammo. And then you're frustrated because you're not doing your job. They're frustrated because now there's a dude that's not doing any DPS, but they don't realize that you're contributing. So in that case, you just use the Restorer Hive. This covers a wide area. I do have a radius, plus 88% radius, to give it a range of 15 meters. So this basically means as long as there's not an obstacle in the way, this will heal my my team regardless of where they're at. I don't have to think about it. So we'll go over the Hive first. So the Hive, what I recommend running with is the best healing you have. I have one at 32%, one at 45.5. Both of those could be up to 50%. So I keep trying for a better one in my drone slot, and it's just not coming. And then I do recommend squeezing in a radius buff somewhere. The system slot is where I put it because I cannot get healing in the system slot. So that's the Hive. As far as the Chem Launcher, I recommend, I've tried different combinations. The one I like is one just putting the max healing in one and then extra charges in another one. So that's 84%. Yeah, so this is what we got. All right. So if I were to put the heal on here, you guys see it goes up to 48,000 armor repair, but I only have 3 charges. So that comes out to under 750,000 repair, right? Doing the math on this, this is, you know, over 1,000,000 repair right there. So, you know, obviously this is ultimately ends up being more, and it's just more practical. Anyway, so let's go and check this out. All right, so let's go ahead and kill ourselves. How long does it take to do this? All right, so now we're down to nothing. Let's drop our hive. All right. So now with the hive on the ground, let's see this. So the hive, you can see just normally right now, the hive isn't really doing shit to heal, right? So, but now, all right, let's see how this does. So you see, it still goes, but it does fill up pretty quick. Yeah. So that's not great. Now you got to remember, because of the 41% outgoing healing, my teammates do heal significantly faster than that. Let's check this out. What if we put on our chem charge? All right. So check this out. Again, how fast we kill ourselves. Okay. And now, no, we're not infused at all. So notice both how long it lasts and how much it heals. Pretty long lasting chem charge, right? That's with our capacity and everything else. Well, watch this. So significantly better healing, right, guys? Up, but there it goes. That's where we would have died. All right, now let's do this. Drop that chem charge and yeah. Good luck. Look at that, 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 look at that. There we go. Finally, as it wears out. And looking for just normal content, anything else. You know, heroic, I would try to run with the chem charger. Anything else, though? You just run with the hive and just shoot stuff. And check this out. Watch this. So that's right there in the middle. Dude, look at this fucking hive, guys. Look at this. Look at right there. Oh, whoa! What did I just pro? Oh, and that's the other thing. Yeah, the hive, of course, because of the hardwire, it just procced my BTSU again. So, all right, guys. So here we go. We're about to check this out. So you'll see this is not great. This is not going to be great against this because. And see, there's the pulsing. So we pulse all these guys. Ooh, I just got sniped. I do want to take that dog out. Oh, it's Daisy. See, this is the downside. Oh, wait. I thought... Okay, there we go. Now we're not. We're good now. Alright, so you guys get an idea how that all works.
Alright, so now guys, watch this.
Anybody?